Hey, boys and girls, it's Dr. Price here at Flint Hill, fourth grade, and I am going to share with you how we do adding and subtracting with the algorithm. So put your thinking caps on. We're going to kind of have a video while we're doing it, but I want to show you a few things, and I'm doing this from Zoom today. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And no, we don't want that. We want weather. So we're going to look at how we begin to add and subtract. So the first lesson we'll look at will be just how we're adding and subtracting. So when we do the algorithm, we first begin with the ones column. So you'll see here in our ones column that we have a 6 and a 6. And a 6 and a 6 is 12. So we would say 6 plus 6 is 12. My favorite way to do it is to write the 1 up here and circle it so I don't forget it. We call that regrouping, and some of your parents may call it carrying. So we have a 1 here. We're going to take the 1, and then to make it a 12, we have to put a 2 here because our digit, when your place value, if you remember, only one digit can go in one place. So the 2 can hold the 1 spot, and we have to carry the 10 because if you'll remember, 12 is like saying 10 plus 2. 10 plus 2 is 12. And then we go and we look at our tens column. Now remember, we're adding 10. So this number stands for 3 tens, which would be 30. And this number stands for 2 tens, which would be 20. And this number stands for 1 10, which would be 10. So when we add that up, we have 3 plus 2 tens is 5 tens, plus 1 more is 6 tens. That is how we add with our standard algorithm. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment. And share it again. And we're going to look at, pull that down. We're going to look at a Nearpod. And it's going to be an interactive one that will ask us some questions.
Hey kids, it is good to see you guys. I am in outer space to learn about adding large numbers. These numbers are big, so I'm going to need your help.
So, how much do you already know about adding and subtracting large numbers? Do you know a lot? Do you know a little? Or you don't know hardly anything at all? And it's okay because it's a new concept and we're all going to learn together. So just think about that question for a little bit. How much do you know? A lot, a little, or not any?
Let me bring my board over and we can learn how to add and subtract large numbers. Here we have two problems. One is addition and the other is subtraction. Let's work on the addition problem first. Let's solve this problem using our base 10 blocks, okay?
So our question is, how many groups of 10 are in 126? So we have to think. So let's look at our groups of 10, and we have 2, maybe. Let's see what he says.
Okay. Here on top we have 126 and below we have 57. We need to add these together. To do this, we start with the ones blocks. We combine all of the ones blocks, the tens blocks, and the hundreds.
So think about what Dr. Price said. Do we just have 2 tens? Or do we have more than 2 tens? That was a good question.
Hundreds blocks together. Now we add them starting with the ones. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13, but when we get to 10, we need to trade the 10 ones for a tens block.
Now, we know that because we've been doing place value and we've been grouping and bundling. We've called it bundling. So we've bundled a 10 and moved it to a 10.
Now how many ones do I have? 3. I have 3 ones.
3.
Now we count the tens. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we write the 8 in the tens place. Now we look at our hundreds place. How many hundreds blocks do we have? 1. So we put the 1 down here. If we take a look back at the ones place, we can see that we added 6 plus 7. We know that 6 plus 7 is 13. And if you recall, once we had 10 ones, we traded it for a tens block. So I put the 1 in the tens column. Looking at the tens place.
Okay, before we keep going, that's what Dr. Price showed you at the very beginning, so that we had 6 plus 7 was 13. Now here we bundled the 10 and created a new 10, and that's where the 3 came from, but we can't forget that 10. So we put it at the top as a regrouping or a or carrying. Like I said, your parents may call it carrying.
Numbers. We have 1 at the top plus 2 plus 5, which gives us 8. And we have the 100. So the answer is 183. Amazing job, guys.
So here's our multiple choice question. 238 plus 15. So Dr. Price is going to do a new share. 238 plus, so let's write that down. 200. And I'm writing with my mouse, so sometimes it might look a little messy. But our question was 238 plus 15. Now I want to make sure when I'm adding that I line up my digits, because if you were to put the 1 that's a 10 in the hundreds place, you would mess up your addition. So you want to make sure, first of all, that you write it as neat as you can in order. Now let's look at it. We have 8 and 5 more. So if I just counted on my fingers, I said 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm going to write a 13 here. And I will notice that a 13 is 10 plus 3 in expanded form. That's why we tell you when we're learning place value and when we're learning to do expanded form, all of this builds on each other. And it builds to where you can come back to place value when you can get to addition and you're able to use that skill to help you. So we have 3 ones. So in our ones place, we're going to put 3. And in our tens place, we have a 10 left. So we're carrying it or regrouping or bundling that 10, and we're putting it over the tens place. Now we add our tens. 3 tens plus 1 10 plus another 10. 3 tens plus 1 10 is 4 tens, or 40. Plus 1 more is 50. 3, 4, 5. Now I don't put 50, sorry, because the 5 is in the tens place, and we know that that means 5 tens. We come here and we have a 2. There's nothing to add to our 2, so we say 2 plus 0. 200s plus 0 still equals 200. So our answer would be 253. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen with you guys. And I'm going to go back and share my